right, so you might be wondering what was that noise in the background. That was me playing this guitar. Yeah, I have a guitar. So, and the reason why I'm playing the instrument because June is Black Music Month. So what I want to do is take the time and give dedication to the Black artists across the world that have made contribution in music, whether it be in whatever genre it is, whether it be R&B, rap, slash hip hop, or blues, jazz, soul, funk, classical music. It doesn't even matter what type of genre it is, but I just want to make the time out to give my dedication and my honor to these artists that have made a difference in our world lyrically and both musically, right? Whether they was music producers, songwriters, um, even artists that play instruments or artists that sing, rap, whatever. Anybody that made a contribution. So I just want to deal with that history. So today, since the topic is about Black Music Month, I want to talk about Rufus Thomas. Rufus Thomas was very popular in the 70s and 80s. He was known for one of his most popular songs, The Funky Chicken. So a lot of us now in my generation or the generation behind me may not know who Rufus Thomas was. But the people that was around in the 70s and 80s or in the 60s, they probably heard of Rufus Thomas. They know about his music and all. So yeah. He did a show out in the football stadium in Los Angeles, California, where he performed his most popular song, Funky Chicken. So it got a whole lot of crowd on their feet. All right. But let's go ahead and let's get into the subject about Rufus Thomas and who was he. All right, so that's a picture of Rufus Thomas. So here's the information on Rufus Thomas. Rufus Thomas. He was born Rufus C. Thomas Jr. on March the 26th, 1917. And he passed on December the 15th of 2001. He was an American rhythm and blues, funk, soul, and blues singer, right? Songwriter, dancer, DJ, and comic entertainer from Memphis, Tennessee. He recorded for several labels, including Chess Records and Sun Records in the 1950s before becoming established in the 1960s and 70s as Stax Records. He is best known for his novelty dance records, including Walking the Dog, which came out in 1963, Do the Funky Chicken, which came out in 1969, and Do the Push and Pull in 1970. All right. According to the Mississippi Blues Commission, Rufus Thomas embodied the spirit of Memphis music perhaps more than any other artist, and the early 1940s until his death occupied many important roles in the local scene. So he began his career as a tap dancer, vaudeville performer, and master of ceremonies in the 1930s. He later worked as a disc jockey on the radio station WDIA in Memphis. Both before and after his recordings became successful, he remained active in the 1990s as a performer, recording artist, was often billed as the world's oldest teenager. He was the father of singers Carla Thomas, with whom he recorded duets, and Bernice Thomas, and the keyboard player Marvel Thomas. So his early life, he was born in the rural community of Canis, Mississippi, the son of a sharecropper. He moved with his family to Memphis, Tennessee around 1920. His mother was a church woman. Thomas was his debut as a performer at the age of 6, playing a frog in a school theatrical production. By the age of 10, he was a tap dancer performer on the streets and in amateur production at Booker T. Washington High School in Memphis. From the age of 13, he worked with Nat D. Williams, his high school history teacher, who was also a pioneer black DJ at radio station WDIA and columnist for a black newspaper as a master of ceremonies at talented shows in the Palace Theater on Beale Street. After graduating from high school, Thomas attended Tennessee A&I University for one semester, but economic constraints led him to leave to pursue a career as a full-time entertainer. All right, so he began performing and traveling tent shows. In 1936, he joined the Rabbitfoot Minstrels, an all-black revenue that toured the South as a tap dancer and comedian, sometimes part of a duo, Rufus and Johnny. He married Cornelia Lorraine Wilson in 1940 at a service officiated by C.L. Franklin, the father of Aretha Franklin, and the couple settled in Memphis. Thomas worked a day job in the American finishing company textile bleaching plant, which he continued to do for over 20 years. He also formed a comedy and dancing duo, Rufus and Bones, with Robert Bones Couch, and they took over as MCs at the Palace Theater, often presenting amateur hour shows. One early winner was B.B. King, and others discovered by Thomas later in the 1940s included Bobby Bland and Johnny Ace. All right, so in the early 1940s, Thomas began writing and performing his own songs. He regarded Louis Armstrong, Fat Wailers, and Gatemouth more as musical influences. He made his professional singing debut as at the Elks Club on Beale Street, filling in for another singer at the last minute, and during the 1940s became a regular performer in Memphis nightclubs such as Curry's Club Tropicana. As an established performer in Memphis, age 33 in 1950, Thomas recorded his first 78 RPM single for Jesse Eckerson's Small Star Talented label in Dallas, Texas. Thomas said, "I just wanted to make a record. I never thought of getting rich. I just wanted to be known, be a recorded artist." But the record sold 5 copies, and I bought 4 of them. The record, "I'll Be a Good Boy," back in I'm So Worried, gained a Billboard review, which stated that Thomas showed first-class style on a slow blues. He also recorded for the Bullet label in Nashville, Tennessee, when he recorded with Bobby Platter's orchestra and was credited as Mr. Swing. The recordings were not recognized by researchers as being by Thomas until 1996. In 1951, he made his first recording at Sam Phillips' Sun Studio for the Chess label, but they were not commercially successful. He began working as a DJ at radio station WDIA in 1951 and hosted an afternoon R&B show called Hoot and Holler. WDIA, featuring an African-American format, was known as the mother station of the Negroes and became an important source of blues and R&B music for a generation, its audience consisting of white as well as black listeners. Thomas used to introduce his show saying, "I'm young, I'm loose, I'm full of juice, I got the goose, so what's the use? We're feeling gay, though we ain't got a dollar. Rufus is here, so hoot and holler." He also used to lead tours of white teenagers on midnight rambles around Beale Street. Thomas claimed to be the first black DJ to play Elvis Presley records, but when he did, until the police made him stop due to segregation, he performed on stage with Elvis to an all-black audience And although the police tried to shut it down, the audience stormed through to get to him. After that, the police allowed Elvis songs on black radio station. All right, his celebrity in the South was such that in 1953, as Sam Phillips suggested, he recorded Bearcat for Sun Records as answer record to Big Mama Thornton's R&B Hound Dog. The record became the label's first national chart hit, reaching number 3 on the Billboard R&B. However, a copyright infringement suit brought by Don Roby, the original publisher of Hound Dog, nearly bankrupted the record label. After one only recording there, Thomas was one of the African American artists released by Phillips as he oriented his label more towards the white audience and signed Elvis Presley, who later recorded Thomas' song Tiger Man. Thomas did not record again until 1956 when he made a single, I'm Steady Holding On, for the Bahari Brothers Meteor label. Musician on the record including Louis Steinberg, later a founding member of the Booker T and the MGs. All right, so what's up, Melvin? What's up? Now, many artists, black artists at that time, they could not just have one profession and get paid. It took multiple professions in order for them to generate income. So for somebody like Rufus Thomas, who was a DJ, who was a master of ceremony is somebody who will be like a host or somebody that does like a call and a respond, introduce other artists or whatnot. Yeah, that's a master of ceremony. And he also was a tap dancer. So he had multiple talents behind him to back him up. And it also just helped him generate sources of income. Now, he done went through transition from being with like the independent record labels to major record labels, of course. He been dropped by some record labels. And because Elvis Presley was very popular back then, he happened to be fortunate to be one of the first black DJs to actually play Elvis music on the radio during that time of segregation, where you really couldn't play other artists' music, from another race on the radio station. So, but well, we all know that Elvis Presley done stole some of his ideas from, of course, from some black entertainers, but we ain't gonna go there. But Elvis was very popular back in the day. He had a lot of reputation. So Rufus Thomas was fortunate enough to do a song with Elvis Presley, get on the stage and perform in front of the black audience. Yep. So let me go ahead and continue. All right. So let's look at Stat Records. So in 1960, he made his first recording with his 17-year-old daughter, Carla, for the satellite label in Memphis, which changed its name to Stats the following year. The song "'Cause I Love You," featuring a rhythm borrowed from Jesse Hill's Ooh Poo Pop Doo, was a regional hit. The musician included Thomas' son, Marvel, on keyboard, Steinberg, and the 16-year-old Booker T. Jones. The record's success led to Stats gaining production and distribution deal with the much larger Atlantic Records. Rufus Thomas continued to record for the label after Carla record Gee Whiz, Look at His Eyes, reached the national R&B chart in 1961. He had his own hit with the Dog, a song he had originally improvised in performance based on a Willie Mitchell bass line, completed with imitations of a barking dog. The 1963 follow-up, Walking the Dog, engineered by Tom Dole of Atlantic, became one of his most successful records, reaching number 10 on the Billboard pop chart. He became the first and still the only father to debut in the top 10 after his daughter had first appeared there. The song was recorded in early 1964 by the Rolling Stones on their debut album and was a minor UK chart hit for Merseybeat group The Denizens, later that year. All right, as well as recording and appearing on radios and club, Thomas continued to work as a boiler operator in the textile plant, where he claimed the noises sometimes suggest musical rhythms and lyrics to him before he finally gave the job up in 1963 to focus on his role as a singer and entertainer. He recorded a series of novelty dance tracks, including Can't Your Monkey Do the Dog and Somebody Stole My Dog for Sex, where he was often backed by Booker T and the MGs or the Barcades. He also became a mentor to younger Stax stars, giving advice on stage moves to perform like Otis Redding, who partnered daughter Carla on record. All right, so after Jump Back in 1964, the hits dried up for several years as Stax gave more attention to younger artists and musicians. However, in 1970, he had another big hit with Do the Funky Chicken, which reached number 5 on the R&B charts and 28 on the pop chart and 18 in Britain, where it was his only chart hit. Thomas improvised the song while performing with Willie Mitchell Band at a club in Covington, Tennessee, including a spoken word session that he regularly used as a shtick as a DJ, as a radio DJ. Oh, I feel so unnecessary. This is the kind of stuff that makes you feel like you want to do something nasty, like waste some chicken gravy on your white shirt right down front. The recording was produced by Al Bell and Tom Nixon and used the Barcades featuring guitarist Michael Toles. Thomas continued to work with Bell and Nixon as producers, and later in 1970 had his only number 1 R&B hit and his second highest pop charting record with another dance song, Do the Push and Pull, a further dance-oriented release in 1971. The Breakdown climbed to number 2 R&B and number 31 pop. In 1972, he featured in the Stax concert, and he had several further less successful hits before Stax collapsed in 1976. All right, so this is him right here. And the album is called That Woman Is Poison. All right, so it goes on about his later career. He continued to record and tour internationally, billing himself as the world's oldest teenager, and he described himself as the funkiest man alive. He drew upon his vaudeville background to put his songs over on stage with fancy footwork that displays remarkable agility for a man well into his 50s, and usually performed while clothed in a wardrobe of hot pants, boots, and capes, all in wild colors. He continued as a DJ at WDIA until 1974 and worked for a period at WLOK before returning to WDIA in the mid-1980s to co-host a blues shows. He appeared regularly on television and recorded albums for various labels. Thomas performed regularly at the Porretta Soul Festival in Italy. The outdoor amphitheater in which he performed was later renamed Rufus Thomas Park. He played an important part in the Stax reunion of 1988 and appeared in Jim Jarmusch's 1989 film Mystery Train, Robert Altman 1999 film Cookie's Fortune, and D.A. Pennebaker's documentary Only the Strong Survive. Thomas released an album of Straight Ahead Blues, That Woman Is Poison, with Alligator Records in 1990, featuring saxophonist Noble Thin Man Watts. In 1996, he and William Bell headlined at the Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1997, he released an album, Rufus Live, on Echo Records, and in 1998, he hosted 2 New Year's Eve shows on Beale Street. In 1997, to commemorate his 80th birthday, the city of Memphis renamed a road off of Beale Street close to the Odd Palace Theater as Rufus Thomas Boulevard. He received a Pioneer Award from the Rhythm and Blues Foundation in 1992 and a Lifetime Achievement Award from ASCAP in 1997. He was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 2001. So, unfortunately, he died of heart failure in 2001 at the age of 84 at St. Francis Hospital in Memphis. He is buried next to his wife, Lorraine, who predeceased him in 2000 at the New Parts Cemetery in Memphis. And that's his grave site over here. Yeah, that's his grave. All right, it says, writer Peter Garwolnick said of him, his music brought a great deal of joy to the world, but his personality brought even more, conveying a message of great determination, indomitability, above all, a bottomless appreciation for the human comedy that left little room for the drab or the dreary in his presence. Thomas was honored with a marker on the Mississippi Blues Trail in Bahia, and on June the 25th of 2019, the New York Times Magazine listed Rufus Thomas among hundreds of artists whose material was reportedly destroyed in the 2008 Universal fire. Damn. In popular culture, Bobby Brown portrays Thomas in the BET television series American Soul. A character named Rufus in Kill Bill Volume 2 played with Rufus Thomas. All right, so here's his discography. So he's been in the music business for a very long time, but it took a long time for him to gain recognition and mainstream success. You said you seen what, Melvin? You seen what cover before? You talking about Rufus Thomas album cover? Which cover you talking about, Melvin? You talking about the album cover that I showed with him holding the bottle and there was a lady inside of it? That's what you talking about, Melvin? All right, then. So I'm going to go ahead and play a video where he did an interview about the discrimination in the music industry. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video. And you will hear from somebody like him that's been a veteran. Oh, okay. Okay, got you. Yep. You'll hear from somebody like him that's a veteran, that's been a veteran in the game, and he knows how he knows the back story and what goes on behind the scene. All right, here we go. So let me go ahead and play this interview.
Yeah, I work with rabbit foot minstrels. Minstrel comes in two phases. If you saw Al Jolson and a couple of others in there were doing what they call blackface comedians, wanting to be black. They had white lips because they put that black stuff all on their faces. Cork, burnt cork, as they called it. And to be black. They weren't black, but they wanted to be black. Only to make money off it. See, they could make money off of trying to be black, but we couldn't make the money trying to be white. because it wasn't there. I don't care what you put on me. I ain't white. And you're not going to get it. But he can put that black on him now. He's playing the part of being black. And they earned and got big time. I mean, really big time. Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor. They were two of the best playing the part of somebody black. And I used to put that burnt cork on my face. You know, I'm a black comedian, and I want to put that black face on that they were doing, so I could be a comedian too. And then I woke up one morning, and I asked myself, why in the hell am I putting this black stuff on my face? I'm already black, and I got a pretty black skin. You know, got a pretty black skin. Ain't nobody finer than me. 1956. That's when it was. George Klein, disc jockey on WHBQ, has always, I hate the word liberal, because it doesn't mean anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But he's a little different from the rest of the folk on the radio stations around town. He brought Elvis to the Goodwill Review. He brought Elvis to the Goodwill Review. Elvis went back. When he came through, people were jumping up and hollering and going on, and he brought him backstage. And we talked. He had a picture made with my youngest daughter, and she looked up at Elvis and said, "You are my boyfriend. I just love you, Elvis," you know. And the whole family liked Elvis, including me, because I was the only black jock that was playing Elvis. And the PD had stopped me from playing Elvis on the radio, because he said black folks didn't like Elvis. But after that night, when I took Elvis on stage, grabbed him by his hand and led him on stage, had on an Indian costume, led him on stage, and Elvis twist that leg and did that little thing that he does. People stormed the stage, stormed backstage, trying to get there, get to Elvis. And the next day, I started back to playing Elvis on the radio.
All right, so that was the Rufus Thomas.
I worked with rabbit foot minstrels. Minstrel.
That was Rufus Thomas giving his interview about the music industry and the segregation that was going on, and how he had overcame that to become where he was as a very successful artist. So for many blacks, it wasn't easy, and it still ain't easy, because now it ain't so much of white people going against you now. I mean, it still is, but it's like there's the colorism that's in place now today. So if you got this light-skinned black person over here, right, and they look more appealing, and they make a lot of records, then guess what? That light-skinned black person gonna gain a lot more recognition than that somebody that's dark-skinned. You see the colorism, especially in the rap industry, when it comes to the females. You will see the light-skinned rappers, or the rappers that are biracial, that's, usually they're particularly light-skinned, fair-skinned. They will gain that recognition because of their looks more than it is about their music. While all the rest of the artists, they're like behind the scene. So if you look at today, you see like your Cardi B's, your Nicki Minaj, your Megan Thee Stallions, and the Sweeties, and the Lotto, and what the other rapper, what's Benzito's daughter's name is? I forgot her name, Corey LeRae or whatever her name is. You'll see all of them. They'll be on the front line. They in the spotlight. But somebody like Cash Doll, Dreezy, Dej Loaf, and Ari Lennox, they don't get that type of spotlight. They don't get that type of recognition. Oh no, they don't get that type of recognition. They don't get put out there in the forefront. No, nope. No, they don't. Because that's how the industry is set up. And it's been set up that way. So they ain't got to do so much of white people in competition with black people. It's more so light skin versus dark skin. Who made more gangster music than who? So image sells. And not only image sales, but I hate to say it, let's just say more so like deviant activity, that sells too. That's marketable. Yeah, that's profitable. So as my brother Ngozi would say, because we was having a conversation about capitalism, and he said something that was very profound. He said, look, capitalists don't give a damn about culture. Capitalists don't give a shit about nothing. As a matter of fact, culture sells. Culture sells. So when you have immigrants come from other countries and they come over here to America, they selling their culture. Because culture sells. And that's true. Culture is what sells. Deviance is what sells. And crime is what sells too. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, crime sells too. But anyways, that's all I have for today. And I thank you all for I thank you for those of you that were watching. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, I will be back with another video. So be on the lookout for it. And this is your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off. So I want to say peace, power, and elevation be to all you. Happy Black Music Month. And shout out to all the artists out there that have made a contribution in music, that has given us music that we can dance to, vibe to, listen to, and smoke a little something, drink a little something, sleep, enjoy the pleasure. Nah, but for real though, a shout out to the artists that have really made their contribution in the hip hop world and all other genres out there. It's very appreciated. All right. Till then, it's your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging out. All right. Peace. All right. All right. Thank you, Melvin. I appreciate that. Shout out to Melvin. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.